So today we have Thomas Strasser with us. It's a pleasure to introduce Tom to all of you. So without further ado, Tom, I hand over to you so you can get started.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back again. Thank you, Martin, for your introduction. And I would like to welcome you in the chat and from all over the world. It's always like a pleasure to keep in touch with all those people from all around the world. And that's what I really love about those webinars. Webinars are not only about technology. It's the same thing with AI. AI in general is not about technology exclusively. And that's actually the focus of today's workshop. We're going to explore the methodological implications of AI. And that's why I would like to start with a pretty old slide, so to say. Have a look at this slide. And this is a slide I always show because it nicely shows that history repeats itself when it comes to technologies in the EFL classroom. What does that actually mean? You can see some mathematics teachers here in the 50s and 60s, and they are on strike. They actually protest against the introduction and innovation of the pocket calculator. So they were afraid that kids unlearn to do math when they use technology and a pocket calculator. Nowadays, we know that the pocket calculator is an integral part of the maths lesson. And it's the same thing with AI in your EFL classroom, because it's going to be a vital or essential part of your classroom with one extremely big difference. We know the challenges and the limitations of the pocket calculator. We know what it can do and what it can't. With AI, we don't even have the slightest idea what there will be in the future. And this is going to be extremely challenging for us, because when I tell you that chatbots like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, those large language models, are only at 3% of their development potential. Think about that. So there's 97% to come. And this can be cool, but it's of course also a bit scary. And that's actually my job, that I will try to reduce more or less the whole idea of scary technology. What do I mean by that? I want to show you one practical example before we're going to delve into a couple of my favorite tools. Disclaimer, those people who joined my webinar, I think in autumn or November, I'm not going to be redundant, so I'm going to show new tools as well. So hopefully there's going to be plenty of new ideas for you as well. This is me, and I recorded myself on a smartphone. And now you hear me in my L1, which is German. So listen, I'm trying to tell you something about a presentation. Can you hear this? Okay, then I'm trying this again. No problem. Thank you for the reply. So I'm sharing this again. Not a big deal. Good. Okay, I can't share audio now, it says. That's interesting. But hold on. That's not going to be a big deal. I'm trying it again. Okay, funny. It says I can't share my screen, but I'm trying one more thing. me try this once more. Just a second. I know where the problem is. Just a second. Now you're supposed to hear me, hopefully. Hold on.
Mein Name ist Thomas Strasser von der Pädagogischen Hochschule Wien und ich darf Ihnen heute etwas zum Thema künstliche Intelligenz und Fluxkompensatoren und Zeitreisen erzählen. Das heißt, es geht mir vor allem darum, darzulegen, dass gewisse Argumentationslinien, kritische Aussagen zu...
So that's my L1 German. Does anyone have an idea what I'm talking about here? No. It's perfectly all right. It's not the main intention that you don't understand. That's why we have AI. You know, the cool thing is I can use AI to have myself translated. Yeah, something about AI, that's good. You can use AI to have yourself translated into a language you actually don't speak with your own voice. And I'm not gonna translate myself into English because that would be boring because I can speak English. But I used an AI named HeyGen Labs. And by the way, you will get all the links, all the slides afterwards sent to you, right? I used an app which is called HeyGen Labs, and I had myself translated in a language you have to guess now.
Sayın meslektaşlarım, bugün sizi Essen'de dijital eğitimde ağırlamaktan son derece memnunum. Çok teşekkür ederim. Benim adım Thomas Strasser, Viyana
Yes,
Pedagojik
very
Yüksek
good.
Okulu'ndanım ve bugün size yapay zeka, akış kompansatörleri ve zaman yolcu...
Thank you. My friends from Turkey immediately got it. So could you possibly give me a feedback? What's the quality? What's my level of Turkish here? C2, thank you. So you see, what's the whole point of learning a language? We can stop here. We don't need to learn language anymore, right? Of course we do, because the thing is, there's far more to learning and teaching a language than just the mere use of technology. And as you might have recognized, I'm not some kind of like tech guy who just wants to use technology for the sake of technology. Of course, there's so many more things when it comes to creativity, empathy, interaction. But what I wanted to show you is that technology is getting more and more accessible. So like 5 or 10 years ago, you had to be an IT expert in order to produce that, right? The thing is, how can we deal with this ethically? And I truly believe in the fact that we can use these tools sometimes, but when it comes to active language production, there's more to the English classroom than such tools. But it's already possible, and you can find this tool in the link list later on. But what I can tell you now, and I'm not some kind of like person who can anticipate the future, but when it comes to AI, the future of course books somehow will definitely be linked to chatbots, to large language models, bots that help you learn a language. So imagine you are a learner of English and you want to additionally practice your speaking skills in addition to the course book and the teaching and the classroom teaching. And again, disclaimer, I'm not saying that these tools replace the teacher, but have a look at the following scenario. You're sitting at home as, I don't know, a young language learner, and you open an app which is called Lura. It's an app that will also be featured in one of my upcoming publications. We're going to talk about this later on. But anyways, I want to show you this. Have a look here.
Hey, I am David and I am a chef. Are you passionate about food?
So the chatbot asks me about the typical topic food, right? And I'm interacting with the chatbot here. Sorry.
Hey, I am David and I am a chef. Are you passionate about food?
Yes, I am.
So I respond.
Great. It's nice to meet you. So, what kind of food do you like? Do you have any favorite Italian dishes or recipes that I should try out?
And now I respond again. But Italian teachers, please do not listen.
Spaghetti, gnocchi, pizza, and bruschetta.
So Christina, please don't listen. Yeah, so I said spaghetti, gnocchi, which is wrong pronunciation-wise. But the cool thing is the bot does not kill me at first, under inverted commas, and transcribes the things I said but mispronounced. But the chatbot underlines all the tools or all the things I said incorrectly, because you don't say spaghetti, you say spaghetti, right? So the thing is, it's a communicative language teaching approach. The machine does not kill me, but tells me what I need to improve, right? And the cool thing is, I now click on this thread.
That's great. I specialize in Italian food, so you picked some of my personal favorites. It sounds like we have something to talk about here. So what do you do for a living?
And now as a learner, I click on this thread and I get feedback concerning my pronunciation, but also my grammar. And this is individualized learning. This is so-called adaptive learning in AI. And that's the difference compared to all those, gap filling close exercises, because the machine or the AI can more or less find out where your strengths and weaknesses are. And this is possible.
That's a good question.
So I listen to myself again.
Spaghetti, gnocchi, pizza, and bruschetta.
Bruschetta, you wouldn't say that, would you?
Question. I like spaghetti, gnocchi, pizza, and bruschetta.
I mean, this is also not truly native, but it's L1-ish, right? But at least it's pronounced correctly. And now I listen to it and I repeat it.
Gnocchi, bruschetta. That's a good question. I like spaghetti, gnocchi, pizza, and bruschetta.
Well, very RP posh bruschetta, wouldn't you? But the thing is, at least I tried, right? Because it's called bruschetta. But at least I get 89% and I get feedback. The whole thing is gamified and it's motivational. And that's the way how these AI tools should work. And that's the big difference between other digital tools, so to say. So don't get me wrong, it still needs the language teacher that gives you personal feedback. And by the way, this is like also a vital part of all the activities I always propose or suggest, that we always have to consider what's the role of the teacher in this scenario here. I think this is extremely important. And that's why I would like to show you practical stuff and tools which might be useful for you. And in an ideal world, you are going to use some of these tools tomorrow in your lesson, more or less, right? So, Ezra asks, can this be in any way integrated into the lesson? Great, by the way, I'll recommend this to my students. Of course, can this be integrated into the lesson? Because depending on the topic, there are various chatbot tools that offer typical curricular topics like food, traveling, and then your students can, based on the app, practice that. I mean, one has to always consider that some tools are cost effective, some tools are free. So sometimes you have to consider that. But also, like in my upcoming publication, I always try to show you the free tools, right? Because I think this is very important when it comes to the use of technology. Good. A good question. Has the app shown any glitch or disadvantage? Well, sometimes, as you could hear, when it comes to the L1 model, how something is pronounced, sometimes, there's far more authentic speech anyways. But for practice reasons, I truly believe in the fact that these tools might be super helpful, because you can practice certain scenarios on the go. Yes, you can choose varieties as well. I don't think that students choose learning with like chatbots instead of the teachers, because it depends what is your motivation of language learning. Sometimes it strongly correlates with the idea: is it intrinsic, extrinsic? What kind of context is it? Sure, there might be some diploma exams where people can prepare ideally or perfectly with chatbot. When it comes to transcultural communication, when it comes to culturally sensitive topics, when it comes to the whole idea of humor and stuff like that, it still needs you, the competent teacher. I'm super convinced concerning that. But it's brilliant, brilliant questions. There's a paid and free version. Right, correct. So let's continue a bit. I would like to show you a couple of tools which I really like. I would like to start with a tool that is somehow pretty cool when it comes to using or playing around with music again. And again, for me, very important, AI will never ever replace real musicians. So this is very important for me that I'm not an advocate for AI composed music. I'm just saying there are plenty of interesting tools which you can use in your language learning classroom to have fun, be creative. And yeah, it's Lura, right, Elizabeth? And I would like to show you this tool. I'm just preparing my website here, and then I'm sharing my screen in a minute. And the application is called Suno, and I'm signing in. Just a second. It just needs 1 or 2 seconds because I'm using two-factor authentication. Just a second. I need to do this. Hold on. Yeah, just a sec. 1. So here we are. And we're almost there. Excellent. That's that. And I have to, yes, that's me. And I'm sharing my screen now with suno.com. So this is that. So you're supposed to see suno.com. So this is actually a website which is pretty cool. So imagine you're doing a topic in your classroom. For example, traveling, friendship, or even what I did with one of my students. We had the topic in an English course book, which was all about, space, universe, and alien stories, lower secondary school. So what I did after the unit, I tried to collect all the words and phrases my students remembered based on the unit. And then I said, okay, imagine we are aliens and we are on planet Earth, and we have to more or less write down what we think about planet Earth and using all the vocabulary we learned in the unit. So it's a pretty creative writing activity also as well. So what I can do is I just project this screen on the wall with my projector, and I ask my kids, please help me with your ideas. What would an alien write if he or it was on Earth? So the first thing you're going to do is you decide on a genre, right? So we're going to write a pop song, female voice. And then I'm asking my kids, which words do you know? Yeah, astronaut, Smith on a spaceship, humans are weird. This is what the aliens think. So what else can we write down for our alien story? Drop some ideas into the chat if you want to. Helbling webinar seems to be cool. Milky Way, super. Great words. Long legs. The Earth is big. Multiverse. There are some Marvel fans. I like that. Teletransport. You're great. And Earthlings. That's a lovely word. So this is what you can do, pollution. So you see, you can nicely activate your students by doing some recap of the words they learned and what the aliens think, okay? So pro tip of the day, always copy your prompt. So it might be the case that the internet breaks or something like that and that your prompt is lost. So that's why you always copy that. And then you're going to click create. And I did not prepare anything, right? So that's why I'm doing this live, just to show you that this can be done easily. So what the AI does is it generates a song. Yeah, strange creatures, climate change, great word. So the AI generates some songs. And let's listen to the first one. It's called Space Chronicles, right? Let's see. So what you can see here is you have a cover and you have the lyrics. And now let's listen to it. So we're supposed to hear something. That's cool. Okay.
So weird, she bites her lip.
Okay, you can't hear something, anything? Well, not a big deal. We're going to try it again. Thanks for telling me. Just a second. You know, that's not going to be a problem with those hiccups. There you go. We have the Space Chronicles, and we try it again. So you're supposed to see it. Okay, looks good. So we try it again, and you just tell me whether you hear something or not. Just a sec. I'm playing the song again. Nothing. Well, let's see. Okay, not yet. We're getting there. And sometimes it's a bit, I don't know. I'm just sharing this and that. Oh, yeah. It's funny. But we'll manage. Just a second. Because the funny thing is I don't even have like the function. When you stop sharing the screen, we heard it. That's interesting, but we're getting there. Just give me a sec. So that's computer audio. Space Safari. So you're supposed to see this. And actually, let's...
It's so weird, she bites her lip. Bubbling red but knows what a trip. Milky Way's an icy grip. Long that stretching infinite. Earth is big but we coexist. Multiverse, a twisted twist. Smith can't help but reminisce. Are a curious mind. Spaceship thoughts entwined. Countless scenes inside her mind. Stars and planets all aligned. Dreams of plans how they transport. Space, there's no last.
Well, this is not too bad. I mean, of course, what you will definitely have is that we know this when we work with music with kids, especially. They say, oh, I don't like this song, it's cringy or not. Then you say, it's not a big deal, kids. We can change whatever you want to. First of all, we can say, let's skip it to, I don't know, a hip hop song, right? Hip hop song. And then we're going to try it again. Yeah. And the cool thing is you can also say, okay, what didn't you like about the lyrics? Then we can change something. So probably we're going to skip the Smith here and astronaut on spaceship and climate change here. Okay, so, and I'm trying this again. So, and sorry for the hiccups here with the sound, but we're trying it again. So we're going to create it again. And the cool thing is, you can create up to 5 songs for free per day. And I think this is a pretty cool approach. Yes, the kids love it, and you can actually do it with any kind of topic. I did this once with healthy food. We created the healthy food song, and even if it's sometimes a bit like, just chant, singing along, we all know that music is a killer in the classroom. So, Space Girl swagger, well, typical hip hop. So let's see what we can hear here.
Astronaut in a spaceship zooming on by. Humans are weird, I can't deny. Helping webinars got the educational vibe. Putting knowledge in your brain, let it drive. Long legs ride on a planet so big, navigating Earth like a cosmic gig. Multiverse whispers, worlds collide. Teletransport dreams won't be denied. Milky Way lights.
So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the machine does the better songs compared to humans. This is also very important, and this is what I always also mention in my publications. We also, and this is what I always do in my classroom, when we do such activities, I talk about the whole idea with the kids also about ethics. So I'm talking about the whole idea, what's good about AI, what's critical, what can a human do in a better way. This is extremely important that we also deal with that. I mean, always depending on language level, I'm well aware of the fact, but this is extremely important. When we do AI songs, we also have to talk about these implications. Is there a way to break the overused rhyme scheme? If you play around a bit, you can do so, but Christy, you can't really do it by just typing in the prompt or break it up in different rhyme schemes and stuff like that, right? But Justine, you're coming up with great ideas here. This is what I love. I'm thinking about students with dyslexia, for example. If they misspell something, will the app still recognize it? Yeah, in most of the cases, it does, because what I can tell you is the integration of this tool, there's just a chatbot behind it. And that's why if you mix up letters and stuff like that, it generally tries to correct that. That's an excellent question. And this is the whole idea of the webinar. You're asking the perfect methodological, pedagogical question behind this, behind the tool. And this is what I want to have my language teachers thinking about. Yeah. And Patricia, you're coming up with an interesting idea. Yes, you can download the songs here. If you have a look here, you have the download button with the MP3 audio, and you can now download it, or you can even download more or less the video, which means that you can not produce a video to the song, but what you can do is, and this is what I really love, I will show this to you. I'm sharing my screen again. When you download the video, what you can do is you can download the karaoke version of it. That means you have the song and then you play it.
Astronaut in a spaceship zooming on by. Humans are weird, I can't deny. Helping webinars got the educational vibe.
Helping webinars got the educational vibe. That's the hook line of today. So the thing is, it's super practical. And this is what I love about these tools. There has been a shift, and those companies understood that they have to make these tools educational as well, right? And this is truly practical because then you can sing along with the songs, right? And I think this is a pretty nice idea. I always tell my kids when they want to try it out themselves, they always have to come up with the credits where they have the song from. I think this is extremely interesting and very good. As a follow-up activity, I usually tell my kids, okay, we produced a song. Now you create a cover for the record, right? Either they're drawing an image of an astronaut or they're using digital tools like Canva and so on and so forth. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, you can attach the downloaded song into an email for homework, right? So it's so far there is no copyright infringements because the system creates music from scratch. But want us to always be careful to talk about this, right? It's always AI composed music, but kids love it. And not only the kids, I can tell you when I'm doing teacher training. So when I work at university and I'm also like doing teacher training, I'm using this tool to do the recap of the day, right? I'm just telling my teachers, what are your impressions of today? Write down everything, and then I'm typing in all their impressions, and then we have the final song. It's so good fun, I can tell you. And this is an interesting approach using AI, or I would say meaningfully exploiting such tools. Always talking about, the challenges and also the critical sides of it. Right. That's this tool. I would say I would like to continue now because we still have time for a couple of tools, and I'm sharing my screen in a second again. So you get all the recordings, as you said, and I would like to, I'm just skipping back and forth a bit. Right, this is a pretty interesting tool I would like to show you. Who knows Napkin AI? Have you ever heard of Napkin AI? Who has? Right, okay. I have the impression, yeah, one, okay, but the majority has not heard of it. Okay, so right, Isabella, you know it, but anyways, I'm going to show you a couple of scenarios. Probably then you're going to be all right. So here's the tool. It's called Napkin AI, and this is a pretty interesting tool. Yeah, Heriberto, it's somehow about mind map, very good. But what I love about this tool is it visualizes, a text. It does not only create images, like plain images based on a text, it tries to come up with relationships, between different words or phrases. And this is truly interesting for the language teaching classroom. What do I mean by that? I would like to show you this. I'm preparing the website, and then I'm sharing my screen again just to show you. The napkin is free because it's in beta, right? And that's why I would strongly recommend to register for the tool. You just, under inverted commas, need an email address to register for that, and then you're good to go. And I would like to show you one example. Hold on. So I'm just preparing the website. So imagine. So Napkin AI is perfect if you want to especially visualize complex texts. So in technical terms and in research, we call these tools visual facilitation tools. So imagine you're having a long or a difficult text. So I'm sharing my screen. So imagine you want to do something about London. So what you actually do is, hold on. That's that. And we're sharing my screen. So you're supposed to see a Wikipedia page. So what I do as a teacher, I want to do something about London. And, I'm well aware of the fact that there's brilliant texts about London in course books and textbooks and methodology books, but sometimes you would like to, visualize a text from the internet, so to say. So what I do is, so imagine this is upper intermediate level or advanced level here, so to say. You're just copying the text here, right? So what you do is you just copy that old school. You can also press the button Command and A, but I do this old school just to see that there's no any kind of things prepared. So what I do is I copy the text, Control C, and then I'm gonna go back to napkin. And this is the deal. I'm just pasting the text here. So this is the Wikipedia text here. Don't care about layout and stuff like that. Helen, no, it's not a breach of copyright because getting stuff from Wikipedia or websites that say that their content is publicly available in general is not. But you should be careful, of course, with course book materials and stuff like that. You should not take pictures of that. But, copy and pasting a Wikipedia text, for example, or a ChatGPT created text is not a big deal, I can tell you. Good. So what you do now is you just click on this little flash here because it says, okay, the AI now scans the text and generates a visual. Let's try it here. So I'm taking this paragraph here. And look what the AI does. It comes up with a visual summary of this very paragraph. And the AI suggests several things. For example, understanding London's global significance. Or, let's go down a bit, landmarks and attractions in London. Or, let's go down. I mean, some graphics are good, some are not that good, but in general, this is pretty amazing, I would say. So you just choose what you want to. London, a global metropolis. Or what do we have here? Yeah, so you see, that's pretty interesting. So you get, let's say, some kind of visual / lexical representation of this very text. And I would say this is pretty cool. Or about London's diversity or diverse aspects. And have a look here. If you like this graphic here, you can even choose the layout here. And then you have your image here. But the cool thing is, and this is what we call fine-tuning in AI. You can even like change the images here. If you don't like this, you again click on that and then you can change it in one click. Right? You can even say, if you're like super picky concerning like spelling, you can also like change all these kinds of things here, right? So everything is possible. You can even add your own stuff here. And this is what I truly like about this tool. So if we go back, if we scroll down a bit, I don't know, let's put the early modern. Let's click on that and see what the AI scans here. Look at this. You get a timeline in no time. How cool is that, to be honest? Yeah. Very good, Isabella. That's the saying. This tool is great with material for special needs students. So this is what I love about AI as well. When it comes to, digital inclusion and the inclusive aspects, yeah, AI has some truly nice potentials, right? I mean, if you don't know what you do with text in the lesson, such a tool doesn't help you. You have to be an experienced language teacher in order to methodologically exploit that. Yeah, it's called Napkin AI. I can write this into the chat, not a big deal. Have a look here. And you will get all the links and slides anyways. Excellent question, Tanya. How do we reference this visual material? So I'm using this for my handouts as well. And in the terms of use, it says that you should refer to image created with napkin.ai, right? So I think this is extremely important. And imagine you can also use this with song lyrics. You can do this with fairy tales. I once did this with fairy tales as well. But if you have a look here, I mean, the timeline is like super nice. And that's the cool thing. And a nice power feature is you have an integrated chatbot as well. So if you want to create a new napkin and you say draft with AI, then you say, for example, write a worksheet and about how to write an opinion essay based on common standards. Let's say CFR. That's a common European framework of references, but we can also look ILTS, EFL. So Yeah, right, Alina. That's a good point, and that's why. And actually, I'm super happy that you write that. That can't believe that I was limited to ChatGPT, and that's why the webinar is called "There's more to AI than there's more than to that than ChatGPT," right? And the thing is, I mean, you can also like use that here, and then, well, this is not wrong. And then when you have the steps here, what you can do is you mark the passages you want to have visualized. So you can like nicely choose what you want to have visualized. And then you click on the flash here. I mean, I wouldn't go for that one, but let's see what else there is. Well, why not? I mean, I think the metaphor with a plant works quite nicely. But you also have this. Look at this. So what you get is a nice visual representation. Imagine you can also do this like this. I do this with my pre-service teachers at university when I teach them how to use these tools. For example, if their students write adventure stories, so if the task is writing an adventure story, then show your students that they can use Napkin AI to have their adventure stories visualized, for example. So there's like plenty of ideas concerning that. That's good, Maria Magdalena. That's the thing. It's supposed to be supportive. AI should be some kind of support backup for your regular teaching as well. So always be critical of those people saying that AI will replace you. That's not my approach. So let's continue. We still have a couple of minutes. The last 5 minutes, I'm going to hand over to Martin that he's going to come up with like some final information. So let's see, just a second. I'm preparing my screen again. So this is this tool, and I would like to show you another tool. Yeah, I love this tool. Who has heard, I'm super flexible because if the majority knows this tool, I can nicely skip. So I posted a tool into the chat, Transcribe AI. This is one of my favorite tools for language teaching. Yeah. Elizabeth. Yeah, you know it. Cool. So again, it's actually the same ratio. One person knows it, like dozens don't. So we go for TurboScribe here? But in the meantime, we have a question by Anna. Could you give an example how you've used these illustrations together with a text in class? Yeah, and very simple. So what I did is, for example, I just talk about this now. Little Red Riding Hood. Yeah, when I'm doing fairy tales, I get myself the text from, Little Red Riding Hood in simple language. Then what I do is I copy that text, and then I have Little Red Riding Hood visualized. And the nice thing is the AI comes up with a timeline of events, for example. So what I do actually is, after having read the story, I show the timeline of the events, and then I let my students talk about the story, the fairy tale, using these picture prompts here. So you can nicely also use this in order to anticipate a text. So what I can usually do is, without even knowing the text, I show them some of the images produced by Napkin, and then they have to guess what this text is all about. So you see, there's plenty of activities and ways. So let's go skip to the next tool. A very good question, Vicky, and I would like to reply to that because I can so hear you. This is like they're fantastic tools, but of course it somehow kills creativity also. And I'm not a big fan of always saying we have to use AI in order to make every single text easier, more understandable, because I truly believe in the fact, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm a bit old school though, that I truly believe in the fact that sometimes a text must be difficult or must hurt a bit in order to understand it. Yeah, because we can't always like come up with 3 bullet points in order to understand a text. So I truly believe in the fact, in the, let's say, also like in the metacognitive process of understanding a text. Very important. It depends which scenario it is. And it's you, the teacher, who chooses that. When sometimes it's about a creative writing activity where you don't want to use technology, then just don't use it, right? It's fair enough. You know, I had one lesson like last week where my students just drew posters without any kind of digital technologies as well. I think it's like the balanced approach that is important here, right? And I truly, truly, truly appreciate your question here, Vicky, because it's so important that we don't fall into this tech romance all the time. Totally right. Yeah, you will see my screen in a second. Sorry. And here is the tool. Sorry, but I think the questions are just grand. So TurboScribe AI is also a free tool. And the cool thing is you get 3 free transcriptions a day. And this tool is really spot on because what you can do with this tool is you can watch a video in the classroom, for example, a YouTube video or anything else, and then you want this video transcribed. I know sometimes you have the transcription of the video, sometimes you just don't. And you know, there's plenty of tools who already do a great job in transcribing stuff, but TurboScribe is a different league, so to say. What do I mean by that? I would like to prepare TurboScribe now, and then I'm sharing my screen again. So what it does is pretty obvious. So hold on a second. I'm just hold on. We're gonna pick, because I'm just skipping this, I'm just skipping the ads here.
Wenn der Jakob aus der Stadt zu Besuch kommt, freut sich
Just a
das
sec.
Michli.
Servus, Papa.
Naja, er kann sich aber nicht verkneifen zu sagen.
Heute haben seine Hosen genauso viele Löcher wie uns.
So nice.
The most
Good. So what we're gonna do now is, just a second. I'm sharing my screen. So imagine you want to watch a video in your classroom. So for example, a typical topic is what I love. One of my favorite topics is mega cities, right? So big cities. And so I'm sharing my screen. So imagine you're on YouTube. Sharing my screen here. So, and you just found a video, mega city, Tokyo, Japan, right? So you're just copying this link, and then you go to a website which is called TurboScribe. And TurboScribe is really cool. You have three transcripts a day. Just a second. I just have to type in my password, and then I'm sharing my screen again. Right. Awesome. So look at this. So what you can do now is you just click transcribe a file here, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm pasting this very YouTube link from before, okay? And then I click import. And what it does now is you just pick the language. It's English. And then you click transcribe. And now the magic is about to happen. So what it does is it now transcribes this 11-minute video. Yes, there is. Sylvia, in the meantime, while this is transcribing, I can give you a tip, which is called natural readers. You can't see the screen. Okay. Interesting. Now you're supposed to see the screen again. Sorry. Sometimes, sorry about the hiccups, but, you know, that happens. But in the meantime, yes, Natural Readers is a tool where you can create audio podcasts based on written text. And you see it's 50%, so you can use the time in the meantime to ask me some questions. But it's pretty fast. And I love the tool. Because I tell you why I love the tool. Because it comes up with an interactive transcript, not only a transcript of the video. You know, we know sometimes it's very important in order to practice the skills that we need to watch a video, but we also want to read it, probably come up with gap filling exercises and stuff like that. So our transcript is finished. So what I do is I click on it, and here you are. This is nothing revolutionary here. So we get the transcript of this video. But what the cool thing is when you click, on the passage, it works like this.
Shogunate system that had ruled for almost 700 years ended. A new government, led by a young emperor, finally made Edo the official capital of Japan, renamed it Tokyo, and
could you hear that? Okay, cool. So the learner actually can click on the various passages in order to practice pronunciation or to recap the content. So, and the nice thing is I can share it with you now. So imagine you are my learners. I just share this link with you here. So I'm posting this into the chat. And you can, from home, click on this link and you have immediate access to the tool. Yes, Stephen, it does work in other languages as well. So you click on the link I just provided, and Christina also posted it, and you're supposed to have access to it. So you can nicely share this with your students immediately. And this is what I like. Yeah, because it gives you a super, super, super nice approach. And I'm going to do it like this just to show you how I use it in the classroom. So for those who have their smartphones ready, you can also, what you can do, I'm creating a QR code now. So I'm just pasting this link here. So if you want to, grab your smartphone and scan this code on the right-hand side, this QR code, and you're supposed to have immediate access to the smartphone without downloading stuff, without the hassle. And it also works with your smartphone. And this is super cool, right? And this is super intuitive. And I truly believe in the fact that AI tools have to be quick and dirty. That means super simple and intuitive. Vanessa, you're asking a great question. Yes, you can edit the transcript because sometimes, depending on linguistic variety, accents, and dialects, you sometimes have to edit stuff. This is not a big deal. You can have it here. You click on Edit Transcript, and then you click
Sekigahara, a pivotal moment in history that secured Edo's status as the most important place in Japan.
I don't know,
The
yeah.
buildings of the expanding city were made
And so on and so forth. And this is pretty cool, right? This is thank you for the feedback and that it worked on the smartphone. And this is super nice and you can immediately use it. And the cool thing is you can also download the audio file. Always be careful. You should not, upload that publicly. But when it comes to the use of classroom use and stuff like that, you're more or less on the safe side, so to say, right? So because it's a YouTube video, but for me, it's the online version is perfectly all right. And this is what I really love about this tool. And if you are into app smashing, which actually means app smashing, means you combine various tools, like various AI tools together. You can actually also of course, now copy that text and go to ChatGPT and make comprehension questions and so on and so forth. Or you can also use your good old napkin and you just click new napkin. And guess what? You're just pasting the transcript here. And then you say you're going to say, okay, and now create me a visual representation of that. No, Ariane, it also works with your desktop PC if you just click on the link. It's a good question, by the way. Yeah. So you see, I mean, you have the video, you have the transcript, and you have the history from Edo to Megacity. And this is app smashing. And this is the whole idea. If you're a creative teacher, a language teacher, you know what to do with this stuff, so to say. Right, we still have 4 more minutes, and that's why I would like to have a look in the chat for your questions. If not, Martin can also like talk about all the documentation about the publications and stuff like that. I really appreciate your feedback in the chat. That's so cool. Much appreciated. So it's so cool.
Thank you, Tom. A lot of positive feedback that we can read in the chat.
Thank you so much.
So amazing tools that you share with all of us. I want to go back to the class and teach once again, So thank you everyone for joining us. I see all the comments, all the positive comments about the webinar. Tom, I would say that helping webinars got that educational vibe. I like that part.
Yeah.
That you created. So remember, people, to join our social media channels, to subscribe to our newsletter as well. There is a book by Tom, published by Tom, coming very soon in spring. That is All Access AI. So there we have information about the book that is coming very soon in spring 2025. So if you subscribe to our newsletter or you follow us on social media, we will be, sharing all the important information. Remember that you will receive a certificate of attendance as well, and you will have the webinar on YouTube, on our YouTube channel this week if you want to watch it again. There you have the QR code to join our Helpling community on social media. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Tom, for this exciting presentation full of ideas and tools for our teachers worldwide.